I loved music. It got me through pain. It got me through all the loneliness, the isolation. It was always there. Something that I could go to for quick dopamine. But I realized that the thing I loved most was destroying me. It was giving me severe anxiety, overthinking. I quit music cold turkey, no coping. No, I'm only going to listen to it in the gym, no. And what happens next changed my entire life. Music was the center of my life. It defined everything. I had posters on my wall. I had album covers on my wall. Everywhere I go, I had AirPods in. I couldn't go anywhere without music, in the car, in the gym. Even while watching movies, I couldn't even watch a movie without overstimulating myself. I needed something. I would play video games, have music in the background. In high school, I had AirPods in my ears 24/7. I was in my own world. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I'd be listening to music while the teacher was talking. I'd be listening to music while I was doing my work. Music was my entire life. Music was my escape. Music was my comfort, my instant comfort. I could always go to. It was always there. With a click of a button, I could listen to my favorite song. You know, the feelings, the dopamine rush, just everything. It wasn't just background noise. It was my escape. It was my world. Any event I went to or anything I didn't want to go to, I always had my AirPods. My whole life I struggled with anxiety, specifically social anxiety. It took over my life. It made my life so much harder, so much worse. Every time I go to school, anxiety was there. And I didn't really know the cause of it. I didn't know why this was happening. I just thought I was born with social anxiety. I thought I just had to get better at talking to people. I wasn't really paying attention to my environment. And that's when I realized music was the problem. The music I was listening to was a direct reflection of the thoughts that I was trying to avoid, that I was trying to get rid of, the things I was trying to overcome. I wasn't giving my brain a chance to breathe. All the thoughts that I had were just engulfed by this music, this cloud in my brain. My sleep was horrible, my attention span was bad. Because anytime I would try to do something without music, all the thoughts would just come to me at once. You know, I didn't have a shield. I didn't have the music to shield me. I realized I was using music to drown out discomfort. I was always scared to try new things. I always tried to get out of my comfort zone. I was always scared of failure my whole life. So I always had music there. You know, music is really safe because it's comfortable. You're listening to the same thing every single time, right? The past few days, I realized that music is a drug. Music is just as bad as scrolling, gaming. Music is literally in that category, and people do not understand that. Music is so socially accepted. So really pay attention to the music you listen to, because you can really tell a lot about the person by the music that they listen to. I've been really striving after my purpose lately. I've been really being fulfilled. I've been really going after my dream life. And it's been so fulfilling. It's been amazing. But there's been obstacles. There have been sacrifices that I have had to make that have been hard, very hard sacrifices. And one of those is music. Because would I rather choose comfort and instant gratification, or long-term clarity and memory and fulfillment? I have very big dreams, big aspirations. I want to live the best life I possibly can. And these are the sacrifices that I have to make. Do I want to have a sharper mind, more clearer mind? Do I want to be able to perform at my max capacity? Yes. So I have to make the sacrifices. It sucks. Like, I just worked out without music for the first time in a while, and it was hard. I was lifting for a different reason. I was lifting for purpose. I was lifting for my future self. You know, I wasn't lifting to the music. I was lifting to my thoughts, my desires. I want you to ask yourself this. Is listening to music and doing all this instant gratification really worth it? To completely sacrifice your dreams and to become the best version of yourself? You are what you consume. And this isn't just with music, but it's with your thoughts, it's with your food, it's with the content that you watch. You create what you consume. If you consume this music that is just horrible for your brain, you're going to have horrible thoughts. You're going to create horrible words. You're going to create horrible conversations. You're going to create a horrible personality. I had to choose between a life that sounded good or it's actually good. We are not meant to have access to this. Think of like hundreds of years ago. We are not meant to access all this music, all this instant gratification. So the withdrawals were real. Going from constantly hearing something in your ear, constant overstimulation, constant comfort, to silence. It is uncomfortable. So when you stop listening to music, it's like this emptiness. There's this big emptiness in your brain that forms when there's no longer overstimulation. And that emptiness is something that you can choose to fill it with something good or bad. And I chose it to fill it with my purpose. I chose to fill it with clarity, stillness, presence, growth. That emptiness on my brain allowed it to grow, allowed myself to grow. It allowed myself to get out of this box that I was trapping myself in. My life started to become vibrant. I felt more alive again. I felt like a kid. Don't you remember like when you were a kid, everything seemed so much colorful, so much more happy. You enjoyed the little things more, and that's what happens when you cut music. You start to enjoy the little things more. You start to appreciate the little things more. You become more grounded in your roots. That is one of the most important traits that you can have, because people are not grounded. People are not grateful for what they have. Before you can get what you want, you have to be grateful for what you have. A lot of people just hate where they are and just hate, and they never go anywhere. The only way to actually get what you want is to be grateful for what you have. I'm giving a challenge to you to go 7 days without music. Cold turkey, no coping, no saying I'm only going to do it in the gym, only in the car. No. This is how you grow. You go 100%. You go all the way into the deep end. It will feel uncomfortable. It will scare you. You'll be in the car with a girl, where's the music? And you say, I don't listen to music. I don't hate music. I think music is beautiful. I think music is one of the best things ever created in this world. But I had to choose my purpose over comfort, because the best sound is your own thoughts. Consume positive thoughts. Give yourself positive affirmations. Surround yourself with positive people, and your life will become positive. So cut the music and evolve into the identity that you were meant to live.